What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt Deville with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Tony Bellew, Terence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez. Get this. Tony Bellew predicts Canelo Terence Crawford. He says he's a killer. He says Terence Crawford beats Alvarez. Errol Spence is a huge welterweight, and Crawford had absolutely no problem with him. Canelo started at welterweight. It depends on what weight they want to make Crawford go up. Any weight over 154, he should say no. I would refuse anything below 160, though I think he wins at that weight. Crawford is exceptional. His boxing IQ is second to none. You only have people like Vasily Lomachenko and Alexander Usyk who can process things and put them into precise like him. Bud is also nasty. I spent time with him in the gym, and he's a killer. He has a bit of the devil in him. Those are the words of Tony Bellew, and let me counterpunch. I feel the same way Tony Bellew does. I don't know about the weight. I don't know how much of a factor the weight will matter. Let's imagine if it don't matter. If it doesn't matter, if Terence Crawford is as stronger, as as quick, as his reflexes, as as vicious, like you know he's going to be, or that's the plan anyway, at 168, Canelo Alvarez will be beaten. Okay, because yes, he's a good counterpuncher, but he can't deal with those type of punches unless he knocks out Terence Crawford. That's the only way I see Canelo beating Terence. You know, well, maybe a decision if it goes to a decision, you know, and, you know, of course, Canelo's still the main draw or whatever. But I think Terence gets him. I don't think 168. And I think what people have to understand when you incorporate fighting weight into walking around weight, we seen Terence Crawford. We seen how he looked. He looked worse for wear and tear from draining himself to make 147 than Errol Spence did. Errol Spence looked like the fresher guy. Errol Spence looked like he had no problem with anything in his training camp. Okay, now, of course, you're going to hear a million things after he got whooped because that's what people do. They look for excuses for every fucking thing. That's what people do. However, I didn't see that before the fight started, but I did see that with Terence Crawford. What does that mean? Maybe Terence Crawford should consider moving up. Maybe he should consider challenging himself, and maybe that's not as far-fetched as people think it is. 168, sure, that's in Canelo's backyard, but then it's also in Canelo's front yard. There won't be a time where Canelo Alvarez will have a disbenefit of himself. Okay, the last time he did that, he fought Floyd Money Mayweather at 36 years of age and him being 22 or 23. And that's the last time he will ever do that. Okay, all the concessions will belong to him. But what if this concession doesn't matter again? Okay, what if it doesn't matter? That means Terence Crawford may very well stop Canelo Alvarez. See, one thing about Terence Crawford, he's either going to make Canelo knock him out, okay? Because see, Crawford's also he's not an Anthony Joshua either. He's not a guy that's going to leave himself open for attacks, but he will give Canelo a lot to think about. I love the idea of the fight, okay? Because because Jermell and Canelo, it's a lot to process. I will do the breakdown on that, so I won't speak of that right now. But if Canelo beats Jermell, I think that Terence Crawford beating Errol Spence again, then fighting Canelo at 168 will be a challenge for him. Excuse me. But at some point, there has to be some type of challenge for Terence Crawford being the better fighter, the better ring IQ. But then is he really better than Canelo? You know what I mean? So you got a guy that's been in there with damn near everybody versus a guy that's now had the opportunity to fight the guys he's been wanting to fight for the last 5 years. And he showed you how good he really is doing that with these guys, you know, on this PBC banner. Okay, they were on the hit list and now they've been assassinated. And now it's time for him to open a new door. You know, so I don't know about the weight. I don't know if the weight will matter. But if it doesn't matter, Canelo will be beaten. If it does matter, we will see a challenge from Terence Crawford that we never seen before, fighting a bigger guy in Canelo Alvarez. The only question is, can Canelo Alvarez show us what he showed us a couple years ago? Because if he can't, he still gets mopped, fried, and refried. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Tony Bellew stating that Terence Crawford has the devil in him and he's an absolute killer. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!